Good afternoon, I'm David Wendell with BushcraftOnFire. Welcome to another video series. This video is in response to John J. Rambo's 5 things to take into the wilderness. And his question was, if you could only take 5 things for an extended trip, what would you take? So I want to show you today what my 5 items will be and how I would use them. Now the first item, as you can see, I'm actually wearing. This is a wool blanket. What I've done is I've cut the neck out and reinforced that, and that enables it to fit over my head. It has a strap around it made out of braided 550 paracord, and that strap is attached with a blanket pin on the side, and that way I can carry this cordage with me. If I need to use the cordage, I have a blanket pin that I could take off of here and use it as a match coat, which would enable me to still use the blanket even without the cordage. Of course, I can make more cordage out in the bush to use as well. So that's my first item, a wool blanket, and this is a standard 7-foot by 4-foot or 5-foot wool blanket. I can use this for shelter, I can use this for bedding, I can use this as a coat, a match coat, which would keep me warm out in the woods. Let's go to item number 2. Now before we get to that second piece, I wanted to show you how I had this wrap. This is a blanket pin that I've made, and the blanket pin just simply will pull out of the cordage, and I can use that blanket pin then to attach the wool blanket to me as a match coat. And then the cordage is simply 2 lengths of cord. One is 20 foot, one is 30 foot, and one is 20 foot, one is 10 foot, and I have braided those together, so I actually have 30 foot of cordage. However, I included this as one item because this is attached to my wool blanket, or my match coat as it is. It's part of the match coat. So I'm including this as one item with that wool blanket. Now, my second item. One of the most critical things when you're out in the bush is to have good shelter. Of course, you can make a shelter, but with me, I carry a space blanket. Now, this is not the cheap blankets that you get that are the flimsy mylar material. They rip real easy. This is an actual space blanket similar to what the astronauts take out into space. This particular blanket unfolds to 8 by 4, and it'll make a good tarp. It will make a good cover for a shelter, but it also has a silver lining on the inside, and that silver lining will help to keep me warm in extreme cold temperatures. What I can do is take this and just wrap it around myself, very similar to the blanket, and that will help keep me warm. It will keep my body heat against me. I can also use this for signaling if I want to be found. It's got a red side on the outside, and that silver will make a good signal. So this is a very useful thing. I think this, when I bought it, cost me about $7. Today they're about $12 or $13, but certainly well worth the money. These do have grommets in the edges, and those grommets will allow for you to put this up as a tarp with some of that cordage to stay out of the rain. So now the third item I'm going to take with me is my knife. Now this is a large knife. It's a Tom Brown tractor, and I have reprofiled the edges on this. This comes with a 35-degree angle from the factory. I reprofiled this to 20 and 25 degrees respectively on the angle, and I can use this for all of my needs. It has a blade that's small enough to do fine work. It has a chopping blade on it, and it also has a saw blade on the back, which actually does an extremely good job if you want to go a ½ inch to an inch into the wood. You can chop up to saw through 4-inch pieces of wood by simply going about an inch in, turning your wood, going an inch in, turning again. So this is a good knife. It's good all around. It has plenty of application. A nice thing about this tractor is I can wear it sideways, or I can turn these clips and I can wear it behind my back in a scalp carry, and that will enable me to carry it in different ways, or actually attach it to a pack that I might have. It comes with a heavy-duty sheath. The sheath has tie-ons for it. Also, the knife has a place that I can take this paracord lanyard out, and I can actually put that wrapped around a stick to use as a spear or to use as a device for hunting. Well, my fourth device is fire making. So far we've covered shelter, we've covered utility. Now we want to cover fire making, And my fire making tool of choice will be my Strike Force made from Gerber. This has a, I guess it's a 3/8 inch by 2 inch piece of ferro rod on there, and this actually goes down inside of the chamber back here a little bit, so I can get more strikes out of that. That is good for about 15,000 fires. As I've shown in other videos in the back end, I can take this out and I can put, you can see in there maybe the rest of the ferro rod. It comes back about 1 inch inside there, and then I can put tinder in there, some cotton balls, steel wool. Finally, my fifth item is a 1-pound coffee can. Now I know a lot of people carry small steel cups with them or titanium cups, and that's okay. But when I'm out in the bush for an extended period of time, I don't want to only be able to purify, say, a cup of water at a time. This will actually hold just over 1 quart of water. It actually has little striations or gradations inside of it, which you can see for how much water you want. So if I fill it to this mark, for example, I know that it's a 1/2 quart. If I fill it all the way up, I know it's a quart. It's got a small bail on top that I can hang it from my fire in order to keep it suspended while it's boiling the water. And I've cut the holes in the side to put that bail in. But I can also use this for other expedient uses. For example, if I need to dig, I can use this can as a makeshift shovel. There's many different things I can do with this. I can also take and get a slab of bark to put over top of this, put some cattail down in there, and make myself some char cloth if I needed char cloth. So this can has many different uses out in the bush, and that's why I carry the things that I do. Everything that I carry has at least 3 or 4 purposes and uses that I can use them for in the bush. So those are my 5 items: the coffee can, the fire Strike Force by Gerber, my match coat that has 30 foot of paracord attached, and my Tom Brown tracker knife, and my space blanket for shelter and for warmth. This is David Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire. We thank you for joining us today, and I hope that you found these 5 items that I would carry useful. Now, what you take in the bush is a very personal thing. You may or may not choose the same items that I've chosen, and that's okay. Use what you need and what will make your life easier on an extended stay. We hope that you have a great day, and join us again for another video.